Get the hell out of my kitchen. It's time to eat. Hey there, I get a fair amount of questions asking me about this meal that I make, and I figured the best thing I could do is just make a little better video on what I'm doing, how I make it. So, first of all, you see a bunch of stuff in front of you. Let me run through what's going on there. 1 pound of chicken breast that is, cut up, cubed, if you will. This is going to be just the great value pepper onion mix, that frozen pepper onion mix they have. This over here is going to be their frozen deluxe stir fry. Okay, this here, just pineapple. So 20-ounce can, great value. Almost everything here is great value. So great value, great value, great value, great value. I mean, pretty much everything. So anyway, there's a can of a whole can of pineapples there. Roughly about 1.5 cups is what I use of the deluxe stir fry and the peppers and onions. And then, like I say, 1 pound of chicken. That's my rice back there. So I call this 2 servings. It's 2 big servings. So I use 1.5 cups of rice. And of course, I've got 3 cups of water in there. And so, best way to make rice, you heat it up to a boil, and cover it. Turn the heat off. Cover it. Let it sit for 20 minutes. Perfect rice. So, okay, I covered all that. I got an egg here that I'm getting ready to beat, so that I can coat the chicken with, so I can bread the chicken. Let me tell you what I have in there. Here is real simple. For my breading, I use 1/2 cup cornstarch, 1/4 cup flour, and I just add seasonings. You know, salt, pepper, garlic powder, seasoned salt, just typical stuff. So mix that all in good. So what's back there in that concoction? Well, that's where it gets fun. So you have to keep in mind that I look at recipes or amounts on recipes. It's just friendly suggestions, okay? So you're looking at probably about 3/4 a cup of sugar in here, and 1/4 cup of ketchup, just a touch more. I want to make sure I get enough. I don't put a lot more ketchup though, just a touch. And then 1/4 cup rice vinegar, and now that is not great value. This is the rice vinegar that I use. And then tablespoon of soy sauce, which is just great value. That's in the fridge. You've already saw the pineapple juice, where that came from. So, and then back right here, that's cornstarch. I got 3 tablespoons of cornstarch in there. When I'm ready to use this, I'll add about 6 tablespoons of water with it and mix it up. This is going to thicken our sauce. So that's what that is for, and I set that off to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and get my chicken breaded, and then I'll see you back for when I start frying it. Alrighty, I am ready to put my chicken, or start putting my chicken in the pan. I've got my rice and water turned on back there. I got the lid off because I'm going to let it get a rolling boil, and then you got to let it simmer down now a little bit before you put the lid on, otherwise it'll foam up and will make for a more interesting day. Well, anyway, I'm going to get me a handful of chicken here. Place it in the pan. And I do cut my stuff up kind of small. The mixed vegetables, they come with, big hunks of broccoli and all that. I cut all that up small. I'm big about distributing flavor throughout the food you're making. That comes from McDonald's. God, I was 17 years old. A crew video that talked about how it was important to place the pickle in the center of the cheeseburger because it was important that people had pickle in every bite. And that stupid crap has hung on to me. I'm 54 now. And I still think of that stupid video every time I cook. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you know how to fry up chicken. All I'm going to do is let it fry up on one side. I got to get more of my utensils out here. And I'm just going to let it fry up on one side. And now I'll take, not that, I'll take this fork and I'll just flip it over. I'll be doing it here shortly. Now I'll do that and I'll make sure it's good and cooked. And then I'll sit there and I'll use a spatula and keep tossing them around for a little bit until they get a browning on them, you know. So I just come in and do this. Probably why it takes me so long to make this meal, because every step I do, I mean, it's the best meal on the planet, I think. Good stuff. I do everything I can to make sure that I'm doing it right. Or at least right enough. There's probably people out there going, you know, you just use the spatula, just flip it all, get it done with, get it over with. You're driving me crazy. I know. I know. If it's any consolation, I drive myself crazy. You only got to live with me for a video. Alright. Come on, flip. Yeah. Start paying attention to our rice back there. It's kind of starting to get excited, I see. Okay, that's flipped. I will let the other side of that chicken cook up. And then I'll just start tossing it around to get it browned up, you know. So then I will continue to do that until the rest of this is all fried up and draining back there. And then I'll bring you back and I'll show you the sauce. Alright, let me get this chicken out of here and we will go to my favorite part. And that is making the sauce. That's where the magic happens. And I just use the same pan, same oil for the entire process. I don't own a wok. And if I did, then I'd have to learn how to walk like an Egyptian. Right? Yeah, corny. Anyway, let me get rid of the egg turner there. And so I'm going to throw in the deluxe stir fry. And the reason why, I'm going to turn my heat up to medium high. So I was on medium making the chicken. I turned it up to medium high. I'm going to put them on the bottom because I want that broccoli and stuff to soften up. Now I'm going to put the onion, green pepper stuff on top of that. Now, It's hot. Now I'll throw my pineapple on top of that. I hope you have plenty of bowls if you want to make this meal. So, what we're basically doing here is we're going to let it soften the vegetables a little bit, but the primary focus is to get all the water out of it. So that's the main reason why we're doing this, is getting the water out of it. And you want them to be, you want your vegetables to be softened up a little bit. I make sure not to overcook them, but I don't want everything too soggy, or so I don't overcook it. I just cook what remaining water is out, or cook it down at least. And yes, I know our drip pans for our stove are improperly sized, because universal doesn't necessarily mean universal. But anyway, they were bought, and the other ones were falling apart. They were rusted pretty bad. So I had to modify these a little bit, but they're functioning drip pans, even if they are a little small. Okay, we are almost there. Let me go ahead and I'm going to mix up my cornstarch and water that they refer to as a slurry. We're still boiling out some water content there, it looks like. You don't want there to be too much water in your vegetables, because then your sauce won't thicken properly. So we want to kind of get this down to minimal water. Almost there. All right. I think that is good. Let's go ahead and add in the first part of the sauce here. Another thing that haunts me from my fast food days is clean as you go. Clean as you go. Damn videos. So you wanna let this kind of darken up. You notice how it's starting to get a little darker? So you're gonna want it to get kind of darker and kind of a glossy look to it. You should certainly be able to see a difference, like here and here. See there where it's lighter there. You just gotta keep letting it heat until it all kind of that uniform caramel color, if you will. And I let it continue to heat, because we're actually going to bring it to a boil, which we're starting to see it start there. Just a little bit more. I like to make sure that it gets plenty warm enough before I add this last step. I think we're there. Mix back up our slurry here. I'm spilling it all over the stove. Only because I'm making a video doing it. You know that, right? Jen used to laugh and call me the Swedish chef because the kitchen would be such a mess by the time I got done. Alright, now that this has already started to really thicken up nice, I'm going to turn it down to simmer, halfway between low and medium. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. Give it a good mixing. I'm going to take that yummy chicken we fried up and dump it right in there. And mix it up in there, and then I'm just going to let it simmer with it for a little bit so it all sticks to the chicken really nice. I told you when I said 2 servings, it was hefty servings. It's actually 2 meals for me. How Jen sits down and eats the whole plate of it is beyond me. But she does. I can't. I manage half of it and have to put the rest up for leftovers. Which it makes really good leftovers, I'll tell you that. Alright. And that's it. I just let it bathe in that for a little bit and simmer. And I lay out my plate of rice and put that on top. I'll bring you back when it's done so you can see the finished product. Alrighty, there you go. 2 finished. That's just 2 servings, right? That's only 2 servings. So there you go. That's what it looks like finished. So other than that, I've only got one warning, probably the most important warning of this video. Do not feed it to dogs named Blue. They don't get any because it's got chicken in it and they're not allowed to have it. So just remember that. Anyway, get the hell out of my kitchen. It's time to eat.